today as Africans. We're gathering here today as people of color. And we're gathering here today to look at the different things that is happening in our lives, in our society, in our environment. Today, you're hearing Black Lives Matter. Tomorrow, you're hearing child abuse, racism. Next tomorrow, you're hearing couples fighting, killing themselves. And should we go into politics? All over Africa, we have stories of politics being played dirty, underdevelopment, a lot of things continually going wrong. And so SOAR seeks to look at all of these things happening in Africa and to say, is there a fundamental thing that could be wrong? Because I believe that if you're to solve any problem, you have to first of all find out what the problem is. And so for us as Africans, if we're not talking about what is happening in our families, we're talking about what is happening in government, we're talking about what is happening in our economy, or we're even talking about how our children are acting these days, the models, the life of our children. And if you're like me, every day when you come out to social media, every day when you have a one-on-one interaction with a fellow African, you become even more like troubled, you become even more worried, you become even more concerned about what is happening. Recently, the whole of the world was, thrown backwards with coronavirus. And coronavirus, I was having a discussion with a friend and we were looking at it that coronavirus just amplified what we were all about, just amplified what our families are all about, just amplified what family systems we have in our homes. And if you're wondering what family systems are, just hold on. As we go ahead the discussion, we will touch on that. But what did Corona do for all of us? Corona showed us whether our families were working, whether our families were not working. For some people, it just brought to the fore the disconnection in their homes. I worked with a woman and she was, oh my God, she couldn't bear to sit in the house with her husband and family for 3 months during the lockdown. And so I don't know what your experience was during the lockdown. For some of us who have taken the FSC course and are living the Ubuntu principle, are living our lives designed with the outcome that we want, coronavirus was a blessing for me because it helped us to integrate our family systems. It helps us to even foster the unity and the closeness. But that may not even be the case with every other families. If you're here today and you're privileged to be someone who helps people either in their marriages, in their parenting, in their families, I'm sure your case files are filled with a lot of cases that came to you during this period. So we just want to have a conversation to look at what is the cause of the dysfunction in our homes. If there is a dysfunction in our homes, can this dysfunction be remedied? Can the dysfunction be changed? Can the dysfunction be, worked upon? Or our families or our people or our couples who are in dysfunctional marriages, excuse me, are they already doomed? Is there something that can happen? That is what we will be discussing today. And once more, I want to welcome you to Soar Africa, where we'll be looking at the family systems engineering approach to a better family, a better nation, and a better Africa. If you are glad to be here, please give me another thumbs up so I'll know that we're in this together. Welcome, everyone. I can see that Praise has joined us. Praise, you're welcome. I know that you've been busy working with Africans in diaspora, even with clients all over. Just before you came on, you were having some trainings with people based in Canada. And that is just what makes me love the family systems engineering approach, that with the tools and methodologies that we use, it is global, it is universal, it can work for any culture, it can work for any nationality, it can work across the continent and even across the globe. So welcome and thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Dima. Thank you. I mean, I'm excited to be here. Like you rightly said, it's been 4 weeks working in Canada from here. And the model works everywhere. It works everywhere. We sit here and we work with people across the globe. So thank you so much. And thanks for everyone for joining us. I'm excited to be here.
Okay, so let's look at what really is the cause of the dysfunction in our families. What really is the dysfunction in the lives of people? What has gone wrong and how can we get it right? So I'll quickly be sharing my slides and we'll take it from there. And please, as the discussion is going on, I need to let us know something, that you are free to disagree with any thoughts that is being shared. You are free not to accept, because that is one of the things that the family systems engineering approach tries to encourage, not just in our practitioners, but in our families and in our nations and Africa at large. Because some of the reasons why we are where we are is because people swallow hook, line, and sinker anything that is dished out to them without thinking. So here we want to create a thinking Africa. If you do not agree with anything, please drop it in the chat box. But while you're dropping it, I want you to open your ears, your eyes, and all of your senses in curiosity, should in case all you have ever thought was true were just some half-truths that were given to you by people you trusted, and you took them in even without stopping to process it. So if you don't agree with anything we're sharing, drop it there and we'll have the conversations going. So I'll quickly just share my slides so that we can get it on. So if you're seeing my slides, you can see that I have Act 1, Scene 1. Why is that so? Because we understand that as human beings, we are all living a script. It's either the script that we're living is empowering us, or the script that we're living is disempowering us. All of us are actors. The world is a stage, and we are all playing a script. The question we need to ask ourselves is, the script that I'm living, is it the script written by me? Is it the script that empowers me to be all that I am created to be? Is it the script that serves me, or the script that makes me think I am unworthy, or the script that fills me with fear, or the script that takes away my essence? Whether you like it or not, you are living out a script. Join me as we take this class to know if the script you're living is serving you and if you need to rewrite your script. So we say when bull meets bay, nothing makes sense in life outside the object of passion, and time is of no essence when romance takes the center stage. Sometimes when you meet couples who are having issues in their marriages, and you begin to listen to the things that are causing the dysfunction, to the things that are causing the disconnection, you wonder, why did this couple get married? When did it all go wrong? Because when they were dating, when the love was there, it was all passion. Romance was at center stage. Nobody was seeing the faults of the other. Nobody knew, oh, he was a cultural man. Nobody knew, oh, she doesn't respect me and all of that. So what happened and when did it begin to go wrong? Okay, so there's an exercise that we usually do at the Family Systems Engineering Certification course, and I will invite you to do this even before we go ahead. If you were to liken the nation of your birth, what nation will you liken it to? If you were to liken your birth nation to any nation in the world, what nation would you liken your birth nation to? And if you have responses, please make use of the chat box. Write your response there. If you feel that your birth nation represents Nigeria, if you feel that it represents Togo, if you feel that it represents America, if you feel that it represents Germany, go right ahead and tell me what your birth nation reminds you of. This is one critical exercise that helps us to know what the likelihood of your birth nation would be. Because we are all ambassadors of a nation. If you are from a family, one time we were having Soar some years back, and with this simple exercise that I ask you to do right now was just the deliverance that a couple needed. So they took this, we asked this question, and they wrote out what the man wrote out that his family, the lady wrote out that her family was Germany, and the man wrote out that his family was either Togo or I think Somalia, one of those war-torn countries as at that time. And then when we began to look at the countries that they likened their birth nation to, it became clear to them why the dysfunction, why the quarrels, why the conflict in their home was happening. This was a lady that was raised in a home like Germany, where everybody works hard, where everybody is responsible, industrious, you need to perform like German machine. Meanwhile, the husband grew up in a nation that was impoverished because he likened his nation to Somalia, a nation that's struggling to even eat one square meal, a nation that was at war, every conflict all over. And we began to look at the characteristics of their marriage, and we saw that the woman was bringing the vibes of Germany into our marriage, while the husband was also acting like a true ambassador of Somalia in their marriage. That is why in family systems engineering, we say that marriage is the coming together of two nations to form a new nation. And the issues that we're having in marriage is not necessarily because the husband is wicked or the wife is stubborn. It is just two ambassadors of their birth nations who are still loyal to their ideology, loyal to the tenets, loyal to everything about their birth nation. But until a couple can realize that we are coming into a marriage is for us to bet our new nation, they will continue to pay allegiance to their birth nations, and it will continue to cause conflict. So whilst working with, and for some of us here, I'm sure that we are not just here because we want to help ourselves. A lot of us who signed up for SOAR are people who are already helping couples and families. Now imagine if you did not know the birth nation that either of the spouses was representing in the marriage, and you just come to them and you're saying, oh, a man needs to do this, a woman needs to do this. The lady as a German machine whose birth nation resembles that of Germany, she's not used to being idle. She's not used to not working. She's not used to just sitting and a man dictating to her what to do. So even coming from that generalized notion of what a woman should do, what a man should do, you've lost her because she cannot relate. But if you understand that she's just being an ambassador of her nation, then most likely you will be able to use what we call our Oyela tools, the psychometric tools that we use in the family systems engineering approach to help them understand what is going wrong and why they need to take allegiance away from their birth nations and form a new nation. So that's why we say that when bull meets bay, everything is checked. Imagine for you sitting here, how many of us had conversations with our intended about our families? How many of us sat down and said, oh, my family is like America, where everybody is free to do what they do, call daddy by his name, call grandma, hey, pop. People have had issues brought in counseling because a member of a family who perhaps is a Nigerian family by origin, and I don't mean origin, I mean what the family represents, became offended because a spouse whose family was like the American family was saying, hey, pop, hey, dad. We talk about everything. We plan our wedding dress, we plan the reception hall, we plan perhaps even if you plan how many children you have, but you never plan parenting because parenting is a science, but that is a whole different discussion from today. But we do not talk about the origin of our families. We do not talk about the systems that engineered us. Even we might have conversations about our families, but do you know how your family was engineered? I had a discussion recently with a lady who was going on and on and on about how our relationship with her husband was toxic. And then I began to take her through the timeline of her husband, which is part of the things, part of the tools that FSC will give you. We have different therapy tools like the Jar of Life, where you begin to look at the lives of the people you are working with from when they were born till this present time, and you do the timeline therapy for them, and you begin to see that some of the people who are dysfunctional, some of the people who we consider as problematic in our families and in our nations are just people who are victims of the handlers in their lives. They are just victims of the engineering systems that engineered them. If a man was raised in a family where the father was a dictator, where the father was he who must be obeyed, it requires some intentional work for that man to become a team player. So it's not just to say, oh, he's always commanding me. He has lived with a commander all of his life. And so fundamentally, we say in FSC that people are engineered by their upbringing, by their environment, and by their significant emotional experiences. And that is what makes them who they are. Until we are able to change the effects of these three things, we may just have a victim in our hands who is misbehaving, but is just a victim of his circumstances. Research has shown that how we're engineered does not only affect us as children, it affects us even until death. A lot of studies have been done on adverse childhood experiences. I will not bore you with the research, but I just want to bring out one thing here, that the effect of how we were engineered continues to affect us even till adulthood. It affects us maritally, it affects us health-wise, it affects us socially, it affects us mentally. Have you ever wondered how you see a full-grown man in the office place? Now we're not talking family, because in the FSC ideology, we believe that family is the production center of the society. That even for the young man who cannot keep a job, even for the young man in the office who finds it difficult to function even in the office, is a victim of his engineering. Because some skills that should be learned, that our people are still learning now, are skills that should have been learned at home if the family was a functional unit. So I want us to begin to look at, why are people the way they are? It's not because people are bad. Everyone is whole, everyone is perfect, everyone is complete. It is just because we have been engineered in a way that does not serve us, in a way that brings out all of the issues in us. And until you are able to find out why a person acts the way he does, which you can begin to do with our Oyela tools, you may not be able to help the person effectively, because every intervention you are given without getting to the root cause may just be like giving Panadol to somebody who is sick. It can relieve the headache, it can relieve the fever, but it does not deal with the cause root of the dysfunction in that person. Okay. All right. So that's basically what I wanted us to say. I've said this, all of this, that marriage is the coming together of two people from different nations to form a new nation that will promote the best interest of all and whose culture will give our world peace. This is the family systems engineering definition of marriage, and in it is loaded. First of all, we understand that whole people build wholesome marriages. And so if any party in the marriage is not whole, what you want to do, first of all, if you are working with that person, or if you are a person in such a marriage, is not to begin to teach the person the skills for marriage, because the person yet is not whole. First of all, it is to help the person become whole, so that you can now teach the person the skills But I see that in mainstream marriage counseling, we're just giving out advices, do this, don't do this. Meanwhile, fundamentally, the person is not whole enough to action the plan. What family systems engineering does is that we look at the individual. We look at what engineered the person. We look at what could possibly may have gone wrong with the person. And we focus our searchlight on the individual. Because when an individual is whole, then the person can build a wholesome marriage. And so that is why we say that until couples are able to drop their allegiance to their old systems, they will not only sabotage their marriage, they will also self-sabotage themselves. And so if I ask you, what nation did you come out from? I'm sure if you did the exercise that I mentioned earlier, you would have some thoughts on this. If you were to choose that nation, would you choose the nation again? In the nation of your birth, what was the perception of man? What was the perception of woman? Who was considered to be superior between a man and a woman in your nation? Because recently, the whole internet across Nigeria has been agog with issues of submission, superiority, and all of that. But fundamentally, we need to understand that people's ideology of what marriage is how marriage was introduced to them, is how marriage was taught them, is how even their concept of a man and a woman is. And that is why we can say in FSC that marital crisis is what happened when two lovers from two different cultures step into marriage without creating a new culture. That is fundamentally what happens that makes marriage, that leads to marital crisis. It is when two people do not drop their allegiance to their nations and create a new culture. The whole discussion on family culture is a whole day discussion. Part of the tools that we empower our practitioners with at the Family Systems Engineering Certification course is the strategy template, where you can get a family, no matter how dysfunctional they are, provided there is at least one willing party in that family who is willing to make change happen. You can use our strategy template to coach them to going from whatever dysfunction in their marriage to building a dream marriage. That is a strategy tool that our practitioners are using, and it's helping them to, build dream teams all over Nigeria and across Africa. And isn't that what we want? That if each family becomes functional, then Africa can be functional. If each family becomes functional, then the poverty in Africa can become something that is gone. But as much as the families in Africa are not empowered, as much as the families in Africa have not be re-engineered from the dysfunctional patterns that keep them hold, we will continue to sing the same song, third world country, no development, no that, because fundamentally what it takes to build a nation is a family. And what it takes to build a family are individuals. But then I ask you the question, how functional can a tribe of people, the Black race, Africa, how functional can we be if the individual nations that make up Africa are not functional? How functional can the individual countries in Africa be if the individual families that make up the countries are not functional? And perhaps the next question you will be asking me as I'm asking you is, how functional can the individual families in Africa be if the individuals, the human beings, you and I, are living lives, are living scripts that are not serving us, and we are self-sabotaging ourselves and our families? And that is why I am excited that you're here with me today, because as we continue this discussion, we will begin to look at what then is the family systems engineering approach, and how is it a solution to the current African issues. Like Praise will always say, the problem of our world is an adult, and the solution to that problem is a child. Tonight, we want to rekindle the child in you, the curiosity in you, the innocence in you, the creativity in you, the team spirit that you were born with, all of those beautiful gifts that God gave you, but was stolen, was destroyed, was trampled upon, was taken aback because of the adults in your life who introduced you to things that adulterated your mind, adulterated your thinking, and you have brought all of those things into your family and is sabotaging. That until you can help a person rekindle back the childlike spirit, perhaps as a family life practitioner, as a parent, as a spouse, you may be doing more harm than good if you do not understand the systems that engineered a person and the tools that can help you re-engineer the person to become all that he was created to be. I'm going to pause my share here, and then I'll take some reactions from you, what I've shared so far. How it is that marital dysfunction, marital crisis is just a question of two nations who have not come together to form a new nation, and how perhaps the way we were raised, our environment, and the significant emotional experiences that we passed through may have given us a script that we are living today that is not serving us. I like to pause here. If you have a question, if you want to react to anything, please go ahead and type it in the chat box, or you can indicate by raising your hand. And as I started, I saw that more people joined us. So I'm welcoming everybody who has joined. Thank you for joining Soar Africa. This is a platform and a forum where we discuss topical African issues, but not just to discuss the issues, to share with you how the family systems engineering approach is a veritable tool right now to helping us regain back our self-worth, to helping us build happiness, harmony, and peace in ourselves, in our families, and in our nations. So anyone with a feed forward, anyone who something resonated with, and you want to say, this struck a chord in me, or okay, I think this makes sense, or any reactions, we're open to that here. All right. I just want to quickly digress a little bit. And when I say I'm digressing, I'm going to ask a question, all right? Because I'm talking and I can see that we're all muted. Thank you for that, so that there's no interference of noise. I just want to ask somebody who is bold enough to say something right now. What do you think is the major issue that Africa has? And what, in your own thoughts, is the solution to those issues? Anyone who wants to go first? All right. So we'll just, I'm still waiting. I will wait for your response, because like I said to you, at the family systems engineering approach, we are a different approach. We don't just do talking. We want to interact with you, because we understand that what it would take to move Africa forward is not people just sitting down and listening to one person who you feel has all the solutions without making a contribution, without saying anything. That is why we are still where we are. Until we begin to have conversations, when even the people in authority say something and you're like, oh, I don't agree with this, and the person in authority is able to say, okay, let me hear you out. That is when Africa can change. Not when somebody in authority says something and nobody wants to talk because you don't want to get offended. You don't want, the elders to say you don't have respect. Africa is not going to move forward that way. We will move forward when we have real issues, real conversations going on, and that is why we are here today. So quickly, I want to, is Mabel here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, fantastic. So I'm going to pause now, and I'll just invite Mabel. Mabel is one of the participants from Cameroon. Actually, Mabel flew all the way from Cameroon to Nigeria before we started the online class to have the course. So I just want to hear from Mabel. Mabel, what was family systems engineering approach for you like, and how is it impacting your personal and professional life, even back taking the tools and the approach to Cameroon?
Okay, thank you very much. I'm really glad to be a part of this course. When I left Cameroon for Nigeria,
I think
when
there's
I
a big.
left Cameroon for Nigeria, I did not know what to expect. I was taken aback by what I saw, entirely what I saw. Every module was an eye-opener to me. But when we got to module 8, the ultimate nation, I was like lost. I used to say that I was just looking like a native person in that Lagos. I I did not know anything. Even the definition of the family we were given was mind-blowing. I think that I even need a refresher course, by the way. So when I came back home, I started implementing it first in my home. While there, I was even, receiving some personal transformation. And when I got to my home, I shared with my husband what I had absorbed. I couldn't even explain everything. But as the days go by, I kept telling him what I have learned, how I think it will be beneficial to us, how we can apply it bit by bit. And day after day, we are trying our very best to apply. And getting even to the church, this particular year, the month of the family, May, I took every 4 of the Sundays to talk to the church about the family. And it was equally mind-blowing, and people wanted my notes, people wanted to get more information. They had never seen the things the way I presented them. Interacting with every other person in their marriage, with couples and singles, whenever I use the tools, it is just really out of the ordinary, not our usual marriage counseling in the church. Because in the church, I can testify to how I was counseled before getting married, just like make sure that you are submissive, make sure that you are just those things like that. I remember some years back, somebody asked me whether what we do for marriage counseling in the church, are we really equipped? I was like, yes. What do we need? What do we really need? I did not know that. Yeah, I didn't know that we need any other thing. We have the Bible, so we have the Bible, and my lighting is not the best. Let me just try to do something. Okay. I was like, what do we need? There's no other thing we need. We have the Bible. That's everything. We have everything. And she didn't go ahead to explain. I also did not bother to ask because I did not know. Yes, sir, that's native intelligence. Because I did not know there was another thing. I didn't know at all that there was another thing. So I was just taken aback, completely aback. And I'm still to recover from that particular trip. This is the best teaching. I have all kinds of certificates here, but this is the best that has impacted my life. It's still impacting my life, and it is helping me with every class of person, because I have at my disposal everybody to work with, teenagers, singles, married. It's making me to look at things from a different perspective. It can make me now to say that this person is not my client. They don't even understand what I'm talking about, because that is what it is just within the native intelligence. You know, there's some group of people you say, no matter what we say, they don't get to that level because they think it is out of the ordinary. Don't bring that you're overbooked here, you know. But it has really, really, really helped me in more ways than one. Helped my home, still helping my home. I was talking to the coach there that I really love this parenting, but I just feel like I'm not up to the task. And he said, you must not be perfect before doing it. And I was encouraged because I really, all of these things I learned, I wanted to be the exact same thing I learned before being able to impact the lives of others in this particular direction. It is so helpful. The tools are so mind-blowing. Thank you very much again.
Wow. Thank you, Mabel. I can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough. You know, sometimes when I hear people who have taken FSC share, for me, more importantly, the transformation that FSC is doing in their personal lives and in their families. I happen to be a very family-centric person, and I know that, yes, I am sent to humanity, but I always say to myself, I want to export what is working for me. And so living what I teach, it's one of my authentic values. And so when I hear people share how FSC is helping their lives, it brings so much joy and happiness to me. Because many a times people come to class because they are already involved in family life and they want to gather tools to help people. But when you come to class, you will find out that the first person who needs to embody these tools is yourself. I mean, we have lots of people in the online class right now, and the testimonies they give just melts my heart. 2 days ago, PF, we were in the group and someone was talking about how she broke down when she was doing the duplex therapy. There's a therapy in FSC where you begin to reconnect to your wholeness, because we fundamentally believe that everyone is whole. It's just that somewhere along the line, you got disconnected from your wholeness because of the handlers in your life or the interpretations that you gave to a whole lot of things that has happened to you. So first of all, in the module, PF will talk about that. But we help you to reconnect back to your wholeness. And I'm so glad when Mabel shared this. Right now, the FSC online class is on. Thanks to COVID, we had designed the FSC online class months ago, but we never activated it. But COVID put fire on our heads and we activated it. And I'm so glad that now it is with ease that people are signing up to FSC from outside Nigeria. You don't have to travel down like Mabel did. And there's a good news. FSC online class has moved on to 350,000. But we are doing a group class. You can activate, become part of the group class. The group class is going for 150,000 as a group class, but you can activate your access to the group class with just 20,000, very odd like that. But the offer is valid for only 72 hours. So within the next 72 hours, if you want to experience the transformation that Mabel shared with us, you want to get these tools, these Oyela tools that is causing wahala up and down. Our practitioners use these tools, and the people that they use the tools for, I'm happy that we have other practitioners who might be coming up to share their experience. And the accuracy of the tools is just mind-blowing. You're sitting with a couple, they've done their assessment, you're reviewing and debriefing them on the assessment, and they're like, oh my God, madam, did you come into our home? How did you know what is happening? Who told you about my husband? And all of that. Why? Because those tools were tested, were reviewed, and we've seen that the accuracy, I like to say to people that, oh yeah, accuracy, it's about, let's leave the error, the margin of error, and just let you know that it's 96 to 97. My mouth is scratching me to say 99, but I'll leave that 1% out. 96% accuracy. And so you can quickly get into the program. I will share the link, the FluterWave link on the chat box. With as little as 20,000, activate your access to the group Family Systems Engineering class. But if you say, no, I don't want to do group, I want to do it on my own, then please reach out to us there and have the class at 350,000. I think I'll just pause here and let Praise for Wowe come on to share with us what is the family systems engineering approach and how is it a solution for Africa today. Please join me and make welcome the premier trainer of family systems engineering, the brainwave of family systems engineering, the out of the box thinker of family systems engineering, the one man who the wife, the mother, the family, all of us have dashed him to Africa, say, take, we dash you, let him change Africa for us through effective family systems. Welcome, Pierre.
Thank you, Dima. Thank you, everyone who is joining us. I'm super excited to be with you. I will just try to run through this. Trust me, everything Dima said is correct. Dima knows how busy we are with because the thing is, clients are looking for effectiveness. Once they find what works, they are just gonna, be on your neck, and they are willing to pay just anything. I started my first session this morning at 7 a.m. Right? I finished 7 a.m. to 9, doing family life. Then I did another session, coaching someone in Finland at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Then I had to do a group therapy at 2:30 to about 4:30. Then I started Canada I'm coaching about a group of 20 from about 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And from there I'm here. Now, imagine what my life is like. And Dima doesn't want to share his itinerary with you. That's how we roll. When you are good, because excellence does not know language, does not know excellence is excellence everywhere. Once your tools can deliver, people will look for you. There are clients I have across different countries, different continents, that I don't know how they found me out. And that's what we say to Africa. We do not lack what it takes to take on the world. The problem is we don't believe enough in what we have. So our people love, American certified, even if it cannot produce results. And let me say this to you, it's not certification. Certification is very good, and I think you need certification to do whatever you want to do. But at the end of the day, it's not what you're learning. You need to put into practice what you're learning in class. If you don't put it into practice, nothing else is going to work. Because some people just love, I have been certified by Harvard, I am certified by UK, yet they can't produce any result. When the chips are down, the tools that produce results is what people need to embrace. So let me quickly share with you how to build a happy world. Let me welcome you to Mother Africa. Some of you are joining from Ghana, some of you from South Africa, from Cameroon. Now, if you look at Africa, everywhere is full of natural resources with low human resource and no systems resource. The biggest problem in Africa is the big man with no system. And we know that if the big man has a problem with no system, the big man is a product of the big husband with no family systems, right? Because every society models is the family, the aggregation of the families within. So if we say Africa has a problem, it's because the families have a problem. So much chaos around the world today. There's terrorism, cancer threat, hunger, divorce, global crisis, transhumans. Several solutions have been preferred: gender equality, to AI, to religion, to politics, to tribal wars, yet we're all unhappy. New vistas of powers are arising. UAE rose under our nose. When I was born in the 70s, in the 80s, if anybody told you to go for holiday in UAE, you almost cost the person as a Nigerian. But now, UAE is the hub for our romance, is the hub where everybody wants to go, right? India is becoming the health capital of the world. Japan has become the standard compliance, total quality management capital of the world. LGBT, new nations are rising. China is the second largest economy in the world. Africa remains untapped. Where is Africa? When you hear Africa, religious war, ethnicities, culture and tradition, underdevelopment politics, that's all you hear about us. Our culture keeps sabotaging the glorious future of our continent. We bleed daily, from infrastructural defects to killings in southern Cameroon, Medicare, killings, leadership defects, education is in shambles, yet we dance daily and we even say we are the happiest people on earth. Look at the fathers of Africa. These are the presidents. They gather. The question is, what have they made of Africa? But the bigger question is, how were they raised? How was the president of Cameroon, Paul Biya, who has been there forever, how was he raised? How was Buhari raised? Who, you know, it was when I was in primary school, it was my president. My son is in secondary school already, he's still my president, right? So you look across Africa, you see leaders and leaders who don't even have solutions, yet they find themselves in power. What have they made out of power? This is our present reality. I ran a check 3 weeks ago, looked at the 12 worst countries to live in the year 2020. These are the 12 worst countries to live in. The worst country is Niger, followed by Central African Niger. That's the one Nigeria is building a bridge to. Now, it's followed by Central African Republic, followed by South Sudan, followed by Chad, Burundi, Sierra Leone, Burkina Faso, Mali, Liberia, Mozambique, Eritrea, and Yemen. Out of the worst 12, Africa has 10. That should worry all of us. That how come Africa has 10 out of the worst 12? It's only Eritrea. Where is Eritrea? Is Eritrea not even in Africa? And Yemen, that is not in Africa.
No, Eritrea is in Africa, yes.
Aha. So 11 out of 12 worst countries to live in is in Africa. That should worry all of us. Now, in my research, I began to realize that, yes, we can blame colonialism, because in my research across different countries of the world, I realized that every developed country embrace a national agenda. But Africa, the big Africa, all African countries, Benin Republic is a small country, 40 ethnic groups. In fact, among all the ethnic groups, none of them speak French, yet French is the lingua franca, right, of Benin Republic. So you realize there is so much cultural crisis, ethnic crisis, fighting over what doesn't make sense. Now, where are we coming from and how did we get here? Why are other races able to collaborate and Africa is unable to collaborate? Every developed nation thinks nationhood, while the least developed nations think ethnichood, which breeds suspicion. If you come to Nigeria, I am Igbo, I am Hausa. The only place where we don't talk, I am Igbo, I am Hausa, is when you are in the Fesek family. We don't talk, we don't even know Dima, whether Dima is Igbo. We all belong to Africa, Ubuntu. That's all we talk about, right? But the moment you come to Nigeria, Fulanis want to rule, Yorubas want to rule, Hausas want to rule, Efik wants to rule. We don't think nationhood as Africans. So if you check across the world, Americans, Asians, Jews, Arab, they have an agenda to extend their frontiers and rule the world. Africa only wants to raise children who are better than their mates. If you see our song talks about that. I want to have more money than you. We do not think community. We think the next family, the next you, I am bigger than you. Even when we testify in churches, we don't care about others. As long as your family is safe from accident, you don't care about the families that dies. So that is why we are backward, because we have not defined who we are trying to raise and who we are trying to raise. So are we trying to raise successful race, us, or successful child, which is me? So we think me in Africa. We started a series of research to check 196 countries across the globe. Every time I got to any African country, I cried, I wept like a baby, because I saw the damage that has been done. That in many African countries, child marriage is still a mainstay. In many African countries, gender inequality is still a major issue. We fight over flimsy things. We believe that the woman is superior, is inferior. We believe that the man with the penis has superiority of ideas. We just do funny things. And someone said to me last week, he said, "Praise, forget it. Africa can never be great." And I said, no, we want to be great. If we can tweak Africa, then we can transform this continent. But it's going to start from you and I. The ratio of doctor to patient in Nigeria is 1 doctor to 700 patients. Now, meanwhile, we know that many of the medical issues were first of all psychological. And many of them are love related. Now, what is the ratio of family life practitioners to patient to family in Africa? We don't have that data, but we know that across Africa, and this is not pride, we have now found out that family system engineering is basically the only certification program that exists right now that is robust enough. Nigeria has how many universities? None of them offers family science. It's now that the universities want to partner with us to now embrace, in fact, there's a university talking to us on how we can make it a degree program. But we have taken this model abroad to the US, and what we have realized is that what we even have is superior, right? Because last month, I had to take a webinar for some of my colleagues in the Family Life Coaching Association in the US, right? To say that we are not doing badly. Those of us who have embraced this model, we are checking our earnings against the rest of the world, and we realize that we are not far apart from them, even though we operate from Africa. So we are not incapacitated. But I want to quickly show us what our history says for us to know the level of work we need to do. In 1712, a man by the name General William Lynn from West Indies, this was cited in Matthew Ashimolowo's book. He had to dimension the blacks on how we can be colonized. And he says, foolproof method of controlling black slaves, irrespective of population. That's why this was the charter that made it possible for England, a nation, a small island, to colonize the rest of Africa, right? Many of African nations. It says this has capacity to last for 300 years, and it can be operated by any member of dominant conquering family, irrespective of age and gender. It says to conquer Africa, we need to identify existing differences, cleavages within the rank and file. This include age, color, intelligence, size, gender. It says strategies, amplify the differences. So tell this person you are Muslim, you are Christian. Tell this person you are Hausa, you are Igbo, you are Cameroonian, Southern Cameroonian, Northern Cameroonian. Amplify the differences, create fear and distrust and envy among the different groups. Use the differences to pitch one against each other. Ensure that they have the distrust for one another. Present yourself as the only one all of them must truly love and respect. That's why till tomorrow, we think America is what will help us. The whites are the ones that will help us. Then it says intensively apply for 1 year. They will remain perpetually distrustful. Strategy becomes self-refueling and self-generating for 100 years, maybe 1,000 years. Now, in another way, in an excerpt that was done in 1861, these are research topics you can find out in 1861. A man, they did something on the characteristics and capabilities of the Negro race. It was published in Richmond in the US in 1861. They said the brain and the nervous system of the Negro is more coarsely organized than other varieties of human beings. The brain substance of an average a cubic inch less than the bulk of the Caucasian. That's not where I want to go. They went further to say that laziness is a prime feature of the Negro character and lies at the bottom of necessity for slavery. Negroes may be trained to be systematically toiled, but they will generally abandon it when impulsive power is withdrawn. So if you're an employer of labor, you know our people. Once you are there, they work hard. Once you go on a break, they also go on a break. They went further to identify that Africans are credulous and prone to superstition and fanaticism, very immature, generally good-natured and light-hearted, taking delight in music and dancing. So if you check across Africa, we are killing ourselves, we are dancing. Even when we are going to war, we are dancing, we are gyrating. In churches, we are gyrating. Christianity was brought to Africa, but we have created our own version that is even superior to Israel and UK. In fact, the way we teach the Bible, when Jesus will sit down, he will even wonder, now me teach you all these things, right? The same thing Islam. Islam came from Saudi Arabia. Our Islam in Nigeria, just recently, in the North Nigeria, they sentenced a 13-year-old to 15 years imprisonment for blasphemy. They sentenced a musician to death. This is Africa killing Africa over a religion they don't understand, right? Now, they are very careless, thoughtless of tomorrow, and remarkably negligent of the sick. They are cruel and despotic when in power, and the husband frequently a hard master to his wife, and both are sometimes very severe to their children. Now, this is what the research says. They are innately servile or mania in their character. They have great reference for superior strength, opulence, and display of wealth. Go watch this. They said to eat, drink, sleep, and enjoy sexual relation. We call it Congo in FSC. And wear fine clothes, undisturbed by any work or dream of modern society progression, will constitute paradise of the Africa, which is why we are the only race that talk so much about heaven. We talk about there will be mansion in heaven, there will be streets of gold. We are the only ones talking about it, right? The safety of Africa lies in its subordination. In 1922, Lord Lugard tried to dimension us on how to rule Africa. They said that in our physical characteristics, they said we are happy, thriftless, excitable people. We lack self-control, discipline, and foresight. We are naturally courageous, cautious, and polite. He says in our social life, we are social, full of personal vanity, with little sense of veracity, fond of music. We love weapons as an Oriental love jewelry. Mindset, thoughts are concentrated on events and feelings of the moment. We suffer from little from apprehension for the future and grief from the past. In religion, look at what he said. He said we are superstition. We believe in powers of witch and wizard, juju priest and witch doctor, in charms and fetish things. We have replaced that with pastors and imams. We sacrifice life freely under the influence of superstition. They are mostly Christian, Muslim, or pagans. Apart from the exploits, let me check. In administration, we lack organization. We are deficient in management. We love display of power, but fail to realize the responsibility. These were researched in 18 something. What is the difference between then and now? Right? You still see us, we are still doing the same thing. How many years after? If you check everything they said about us, it is correct. If the pattern that flows through us has brought us here, must we continue this pattern? If it takes a village to raise a child, can't we find a template that works and create a new village? That's why we are using FESEC to create a new village. This simply means we must be intentional in writing the script for our children and raising a new generation of leaders for Africa. Now, many of the leaders we have right now were raised from our families, and we need to raise a new generation of leaders. In some countries of the world, animals have rights. We are still battling with child rights in Africa. We are still beating our children, beating our wives, beating our mothers. We are doing funny, funny things that the whole world has moved away from. What is the way out? That is why we researched and spent time to begin to find templates that worked. And we built this template to make sure that it can work across the globe. We have people using FSC model in Canada, in the UK, in the US, across different nations. I sit in Nigeria sometimes. When I travel, I coach people across the globe using this template. And that's why we believe the more practitioners we have who can use this template, the better for Africa, because we need competence. Enough of native intelligence. Sometimes, in fact, with the FSC model, I don't talk to clients before I know what is wrong. I administer my questionnaire, and by the time it comes back, I analyze it, write a 9-page report, and everything in their life is laid bare, right? 96% accurate. Family systems engineering is an intentionally developed template that takes a look into how the structure, frames, and system of families affect the products of the family, and how their deployment into the society ultimately affects the quality of the society, especially across Africa and the rest of the world. This study takes a look into the engineering of the human mind. So in class, you will learn how human beings think, how the human mind thinks. You will learn how human beings are engineered, how you were made, because the course will first of all deal with you, transform your life before you go to transform others. A lot of people come to class and they break down. Consistently happens because it will show you how badly you have been raised, what has been done to you, but it will also raise you up, heal you, and you will be better equipped to raise others. The course shows you the style of government every family runs. Every one of us is running one style of government, but we are not intentional about it. And how it affects everything the man becomes, including the society and the family. We will examine the upbringing, your belief, and your worldview of a couple. I was having a coaching session this morning, 7 a.m., and I ran them through beliefs alignment. And immediately we saw what was wrong, right? That many couples don't share similar beliefs. It's called unequal yoke. We think an unbeliever is Muslim and Christian. No, an unbeliever is someone who doesn't believe what you believe. It doesn't mean they are bad. They may be believers to someone else. Take, for instance, a man who believes that only a woman should cook. That man may not be good for you, but it may be good for another woman. So he needs to find a woman who wants to be cooking, right? There are people who believe that sex should only be for procreation. Those people find themselves, right? They may not be good for you. They may just be good for another person, right? So we need to understand that we examine your upbringing, your beliefs, and the well-being of a couple, and now we can either support or sabotage their best interest using our intentionally created psychometric tools called Oyela, which all you need to do is administer it, and it will show exactly what is wrong. In family system engineering, we focus on family, systems, and engineering. The future of Africa is to embrace system. In the UK, the train will move, whether it has 2 or 3 people, is systems, right? It will not wait and say, we have 2 people, let us wait for the train to be full. Africa is about time wasting. Any economy that is not measured per hour cannot see the future. We measure productivity per month here. Other nations per hour. That's why they are ahead. FSC presupposes that the family is the most important nation on earth and intentionally bypass every conscious resistance. So the model is we use psychometric tools, we analyze and report, we review the sessions, and we create coaching intervention. But unlike other coaching programs, family systems combine coaching, therapy, and strategy. That's why it's robust. When we presented it in the US, they looked at it and they said, this is beyond coaching. We have gone beyond coaching because, let me tell you, a client does not want to know whether you are a coach, you are a therapist. A client wants solution. So you can't say, oh, you know, this is not my jurisdiction. No, I cannot solve your problem. He has paid. So whatever can help your clients is what you must embrace. So you won't tell them, okay, this is coaching. This is a therapy. This is no. The client wants solution, especially in Africa. So we have lost a right to say, I'm just a coach. We combine coaching, therapy, and strategy. So what we do is we run what we call the love code assessment, set of 15 questions that shows your love code. We run the marital assessment. It shows the exact state of your marital state and the root cause analysis. This is where we find out everything wrong with couples. Then we run the personality assessment using the brand of CAR model. It's an interesting model, the simplest model, but very interesting, interactable. Then we use the beliefs assessment, which we call culture compatibility test. So in love code assessment, we will find out exactly what your love code is. And we will find out where the 2 of you are having issues. In marital assessment, 25 questions. We will know whether your marriage is in coma, threshold, average, growth, great bliss. Also, we have materials for premarital. We have a tool called User's Manual. I mean, when you do User's Manual, you fall in love with it. I ran a User's Manual model for a church last Sunday. It was mind-blowing, 62 people in class, right? In marital assessment, you will find upbringing, your self-sabotaging pattern and trauma, systems and structures, marital formation, in-law management. Everything will be revealed in here, right? Then we have the personality. So we have the intimidating, armor, creative, convertible, systematic, forward, and dependable trust. This is the best model that exists in that category. And in culture compatibility, 20 questions that reveals your beliefs, differences in beliefs, gaps in your culture, gender bias, role map, leadership style, and worldview compatibility. This helps you to measure the current beliefs position assessment before people get into marriage. Now, we have amazing results. So with our model, you are able to comprehensively assess people, accurately diagnose. This will reduce your counseling time. You are sitting for 2 hours to know, yeah, you talk, you, that one talk. So what is wrong? You are doing advisory. With these tools, you don't need to sit with anybody in 15 minutes. You know exactly what is wrong. You are able to create intervention as a professional. Now, in FSC, we don't throw numbers, but I can tell you, that what I do in numbers with my clients, because the way I charge is totally different from the conventional therapies, right? I charge based on my bouquets, right? And clients are willing to pay. So people are looking for solution, but you have to be good enough to solve their problem. If you're an advisor, they will just be calling you pastor or imam, and they will expect free, right? So when you create that psychometry, you review the session, clarify, and now use our coaching sessions to solve the problem. I mean, we have solved some of the most difficult systems. When Big Brother Double Wahala session, I think last year, had a serious issue and they couldn't resolve it, guess who they came to look for? They came to look for me, because they said that we have a psychometry that can help people hack into what was wrong. I don't watch Big Brother. I am not a fan of Big Brother, but they called me, they paid me, and I got into the house. I have never met any of them before. I just analyzed my psychometry and I read the report to them. It was 100% accurate. They had to be asking me, are you sure you don't watch? I said, I don't watch it, right? They had another show called Ultimate Love. I had to go in there and they said my session was the best that they've had. Now you need to understand that this model is presently being used by 300, it used to be 380. We actually have about 600 people using this model across Africa. I'm in Canada, in Black community in the US, right? In class, you will learn marital formation coaching templates that you will move from talent. You will learn how to create marital vision, marital values, skills, purpose, 11 critical players that you need to install into your marriage to help people build their marriages. This is a money spinner, this particular one, right? So there is a whole lot to learn in class. You will learn different systems that can transform families, the different systems they need to build, from the governing system to the communication system to the family educational system to the family economic system, domestic management system, entertainment and recreational system, security system, family health care and wellness system. These are things that you will learn in class. You will learn about role switch. Unfortunately, we don't have time. I could have taken you through role switch, which is basically, you know, the 3 duplex model, wherein you know where you function the most. We will take you through the duplexes of your life, your role as a wife, as a woman, as a mother, as a husband, man, father, to find where you are most comfortable. It will show exactly what is wrong with you as a person. These are the things family systems will do for you. Now it's 56 hours in class, 100 hours field work. You do your project defense and you are certified. We do not run a certification program where once you leave class, we say you are certified. No, we allow you practice what you have learned in class. We support you with support system, build you into a community that supports you, and everyone is supporting you. Then you do your field work, you are perfect. Then you come back for your defense and you are certified. Let me tell you, so I said we have about 600 family life practitioners across Africa, UK, Canada, and US at the moment. And they have gone on to educate over 9,500 families. The other day, someone came to my house, opened the door, saw my family vision, took the picture. The person called me today to say, Praise, I have done mine. The lady had to come and do family system engineering certification program. So Africa is in crisis. Africa needs you. The rest of the world needs you. I am here. I coach in Canada. I coach in the UK. I coach in the US. Let me tell you, we have what works. And that's why you need to come to class. The good thing is you don't have to travel again. We can do it in class, which is why we are now starting group classes, which is cheaper than the individual classes. The individual classes, for COVID, we dropped the price to like 200,000. It has moved back to what it used to be, which is 350,000. That's $750, right? But for those of you who want to encounter other people in class, right? Your class is 150,000. With about 20,000, 30,000, you can activate it. That class starts exactly 2 weeks from now, right? You need to be in that class and you will realize that this is the best experience you would have had in your life. We have had ancestors like Shango, Ogun, Amadioha across Africa. Now you need to become a new generation of ancestor that can promote love and dignity of persons. We live by the ideology called Ubuntu, which says, I am because you are. There is no me without you. Once you come into First Set, you will find a new family that supports you, a family that promotes what you do. We believe the most important nation on earth is a family, and we believe no man can be truly happy until the woman is happy. Hence, our desire to promote a team-based family system approach across the nations of the world. I want you to join us to rebuild the world and become one of the most effective family life practitioners. I am personally waiting to meet you in class. If you want to join us, activate the offer today, drop your names, drop your details, pay your fees, and let us get cracking. Trust me, these models make you effective across the nations of the earth. You'll be able to work across different cultures. You will know how systems work, and you know how to deploy your tools to hack into any problem. Look at Africa once again. 12 worst nations in 2020. Niger Republic. Nigeria is building a bridge to Niger. Central African Republic. South Sudan, number 3. Chad, number 4. Burundi, number 5. Sierra Leone, number 6. Burkina Faso, number 7. Mali, number 8. Liberia, number 9. Mozambique, number 10. Eritrea, number 11. Yemen is the only one that is not in Africa. So 1st to 11 worst countries are our brothers in Africa. We need to save them. In fact, in my study of the African countries, the greatest need a certified family life professional, because Africa is not structured. There is no family life industry in Africa. We just created it. And the good thing is that what we have done so far, we have benchmarked it against America, and we realize that we are at par with them. So nobody will save our continent for us. We need to save our continent, but it will start by you saving yourself and saving your family. You need to embrace a model that works, a model that can create a new nation. Marriage is the coming together of a man and a woman to create a new nation that will promote the best interest of all and whose culture will give our world rest. The ball is in your court. We have to do it together. Africa needs you. The world needs you. The whole world needs you. You even need you. I need you. It's Ubuntu. So we need you to come to class with us so that we can totally transform our world. That history is there, but a new generation has to be born that will take responsibility for Africa, and together we can birth a new Africa that the world has never seen before. People have come to class, they will share, some of them will share their testimonies with you. This is not fluke. We're not trying to teach you happy. We don't even know how to do it. If we want to deceive you now, we'll begin to share figures that we are making, and we will not be lying. I know the figures I do monthly from coaching as a family life professional. We will not be, but that's not our style. Our style is to give you the way it is and to tell you, you know what? This is what will happen if you embrace this model. You'll become more effective, you'll become more powerful, and you can transform the world. We are willing to support you to become the best version of yourself. Welcome to class. Welcome to Blaze. You will find yourself. You will transform your life, and it transforms you. Will transform your environment, transform your nation, transform Africa. Then together we can transform the world. I believe they have said Africa has nothing to offer the world. We have family life to offer the world, and we have these systems to offer the world because it was well built and you can't controvert it. We have applied it to our personal families. We have applied it to other families. We have used it to heal some of the most difficult family life at the shortest possible time, the family life crisis at the shortest possible time, and the whole world needs us. So let me welcome you to class. I hope you join us. Sign up right away, and we'll be willing to work with you. Thank you very much. God bless you. I hope you have learned something from me. Dima, over to you.
Thank you, Praise, for that amazing presentation. You know, each time we've had these conversations about Africa and about all of those studies that were done in 17th century, in the 19th century. And each time we're talking about it again, and I can clearly see that what was foretold of Africa years back is still predominantly what is happening today. First of all, the first impression I have of it, or the first reaction I have of it, is that of sadness. That, wow, after all these years, we're still here. Can you imagine stuff like the safety of Africans lies only in his subordination? Stuff like, you know, all of what you shared about what they said about us. So first reaction is I get sad. But then when I remember the FSC family, when I remember how, not just as the family, practitioners have taken this approach to other families through the Community Infusion Program, it fills me with hope. It fills me with enthusiasm. It fills me with a lot of courage to keep doing what we're doing. That if we're going to change that ugly narrative, I started this class by saying that we are all living scripts. The question is, whose scripts are you living? So you see that some of us are still living the scripts that was predicted of us, how to enslave us. But the good thing is that we are all story writers, we are all script writers. You can rewrite the script of your family, starting first from your script. You can rewrite your family script, you can rewrite your nation script. When PF was saying something, and he read about the 12 worst nations, I became curious, and I just jotted down on my paper. Yeah, those are nations, 12 worst nations, and we saw 11 of them African nations. I challenge every one of us here today. If you listen to PF, or even if you missed a session and you're hearing my voice now, I want you to take this exercise home. Ask your children, ask your spouse, is our family, what is your impression of our family? Because some of us might be here saying Eritrea and all of those African countries, but right under your nose, somebody considers your family the worst place to live in. Your spouse is dying. Something is dying in your spouse because he or she is married to you. That already is a worse place to live. It says something that Africans are the people where the man puts the wife under and together they put their children under. PF mentioned something and he was talking about how countries are protecting animal rights. But right here in Africa, we are still struggling to talk about child's rights. So I challenge all of us here today, when you go home, ask your children, ask your spouse, what is dying in you because you are a member of this family? And you will be amazed at the responses that you will get. So for some of us that are already dropping our contacts in the chat box, and someone asked me how long the class will be, the group class is starting in 2 weeks' time, October the 13th, and it's going to run for 3 weeks. The group class will start October the 13th, and it will be for 3 weeks. For those who sign up, we'll share the details and the methodology of how we're going to run it. 3 weeks, but we're not meeting every day in the 3 weeks. You will have access to the online class, and then you will have teaching times with your instructors and facilitators. So the whole training for the group class will be 3 weeks. It's starting October the 13th. If you want to be part of the group class, which will be going for 150,000, you have to make a commitment of 20,000 within the next 72 hours to activate your access. After 72 hours, you will not be able to, that means before October 12th, October 13th, because we have a limited number of people for each group class. Once we hit the number of people for the group class, we will close access, and then you will have to join the waiting list for the next group class. So if the group class is the option you want to take, please activate your access within the next 72 hours by making a deposit of 20,000 naira. The whole group class will hold for 3 weeks and it's going at 150,000. But if you do not want to have, that group learning experience and you want to take the FSC class privately on your own through the online platform, then you gain access to that at 350,000. That is the going price for the online FSC class. So as we're wrapping up now, I want to know if do you have any questions, any contributions, anything that is coming up for you as the discussion was going on? Are you beginning to see yourself in the discussions? Are you seeing your home represented? PF was talking and he talks about beliefs alignment. That is always a joker. And so somebody might be saying to me, oh, but I work with singles. I don't work with married couples that already have issues. I have personally worked with intending couples who are dating and want to get married. And by sitting with them to go through their lives using the FSC tools, I would say, unfortunately, for some of them, they went ahead. I have testimonies on both sides. Some have gone ahead and built amazing families, because the best time to prepare for family is before you have a family. However, the next best time is now. But even some of them have had to break their engagement. I've worked with intending couples who broke their engagement after sitting with me to go through their premarital preparations. And it became clear to them that they were they were unequally yoked. The joker always is when you do the values and beliefs elicitation and alignment, and these people are clearly living different lives that will manifest as issues, and they chose by themselves to end the engagement because it became so clear to both of them that this marriage was not meant to be. So the tools work whether you're dealing with married people, whether you're dealing with singles, whether you're even dealing with yourself. Okay, so let me take this question. Someone asked, what is the difference between an associate and a certified practitioner in FSC course? Thank you, Maureen, for that question. So like PF said, in family systems engineering, because we know and we are using the approach as a tool to rebuild Africa. That's the goal of all of this. We want to rebuild Africa. We want to change the narrative of Africa. We want to empower Africa. And we have seen that to empower Africa, we have to start by empowering families, because it is families that are empowered that make an empowered Africa. Therefore, what we do in our course is not just after the class and you are brandishing certificates of being certified. When you take the FSC class, after the online class in this case, you become, and you have done all of your home plays. Please note that we take, the only way that we can change Africa is by changing the narrative. It's by doing things the way they ought to be done. And so in FSC class, we have what we call home plays, which can traditionally be called assignments or homework. So even as you're taking the online class, you have your course guides attached to you, and you are expected to submit your home plays as at when due. So when you're done with your online class and your course guide has certified that you've done all of your home plays, then you can graduate from the online class. When you graduate from the online class, what we give you is a certificate that shows that you are now an associate practitioner of family systems engineering. So associate practitioners are those who have completed the class work. Who is now a certified practitioner? Once you complete your classwork and you become an associate, you are now equipped with the tools to go and do your field work. So we believe in the practice of the tools. That's why it is practitioner. So you can't be practitioner when you have not practiced the tools beyond just learning them. So we have an 100 hours field work that you're expected to do, which covers your community infusion, which covers your speaking and how you are using the approach, which covers how you are using the tools, because you will begin to administer the tools and use it so that we can know if you've mastered it. Again, your 100 hours is to be submitted to the Institute. At the end of that, you will sit for your defense. Your defense would either be online or offline. So when you finish your 100 hours and you sit for your defense and you pass your defense, then you will be decorated as a certified practitioner of family systems engineering. So Maureen, does that answer your question? After class work, you become an associate. When you are done with your field work, you become a certified practitioner. So at this point, I just want to welcome, Pastor, I'll call her Nike Ajayi, but no, I'll put the pastor. That is a role that you occupy, and I'm proud to call you that. So Nike Ajayi, I'm going to be calling Nike Ajayi. Nike Ajayi is an alumnus of Family Systems Engineering course. And she's gone on to do amazing, beautiful work, integrating her work as a practitioner with her calling as a pastor. So I'm going to call Nike. And Nike, I would like for you to just share with us, I know as a pastor, you were working with people were bringing their family issues to you and all of that. And you were doing, like Mabel said, working with them with the only tool that you had, the Bible. And so tell me that experience, and after FSC, how has this impacted your work as a practitioner, but more importantly, as a pastor that have people under her fold? We can't hear you, Nike. You are really faint. Your voice is very faint. Or is it only me? It's very faint. Would you? Okay, please say something.
Is it better?
Yeah, fantastic. It is.
All right. Okay, I think I'm better without the earpiece. Like I said, family system engineering certification course is an encounter we would never forget. For us, my husband and I, it's a ministry lifter. It gave us a direction in our ministry. We've been pastoring for like 15 years before we came to for FSC. And the fantastic thing about our lives was the first day we started our courtship, I remembered in school, God gave us a direction about families, you know. He gave us a word that our home will be role model for homes. And we've been doing so well in our eyes, as it were, about families. But the moment we came to class, everything changed. As a matter of fact, the mission we belong to knew that something changed about us. Counseling people, counseling members, it became clearer, and they're always so amazed. We've had other pastors. As a matter of fact, when we presently do not counsel members alone, we counsel senior pastors. Senior pastors come secretly for counseling. When I mean those ones that will come secretly, those ones that are well known. Secondly, what FSC has also done for our ministry is that it has given us, it's like a wing, a feather of flight for us. There is no time, you know, you see some pastors, they will call their friends, hey, my friend, can I come to your church to minister? It has never happened because we are so busy and so full. Ministration for us is like a major task because it has made us, by the grace of God, to be much sought after. Let me tell you the truth. If you are a Christian or if you're in ministry, if you're a religious if you're a religious leader, people know the difference now. People are tired of listening to the same old story. It's not that the Bible is not potent. The Bible I believe in. It's because we have not been taught how to fully activate this aspect of our lives as it relates to what we learned in family system. Do you know the shocker for me? Everything we learned in class for us is relatable to the Bible. There are scriptures to back them up. And so even preaching it, it's easy for us, seamless for us. In fact, my own wonderful Oyela, if I break it down, I often take to people that Oyela was what Jesus Christ used to pick his disciples. Oyela is so fantastic because the reason is that Jesus started his ministry with a Peter who was a talker, who was an influencer. So when you get to class, you realize that it's easy for us to flow with Oyela and it's easy for people to sync with it. So for those that we counsel, they always want to come back. They know their pastors, they know those ones that are professional counselors. It's been fantastic, it's been rewarding, it's been fulfilling, and I can tell you, it's also been financially rewarding because you can actually create a solution and ultimately create wealth. You can choose to decide what you want to do. The ones you want to do as ministry, the ones you want to do as CSR, the ones you want to commercialize, because you have to place value on your time. It's been a wonderful journey. Very wonderful journey for us.
Thank you. Yeah, I was enjoying the talk. I thought you were still talking, and you just gave me another. You know, I love the learning experience. Recently, some days back, we were in the chapel at home, and one of the children, somebody said something about learning. And he was equating that learning is, you learn from people that are higher than you, people that are, and I called his attention to it. I said, no, you learn from everything, even inanimate things. You can learn from a chair, you can learn from whatever. And so you just like hit the nail on the head for me when you said Oyela was what Jesus used to pick his disciples. And I'm like almost breaking out in tongues, like, oh my God. She just know the connection. Why didn't I ever think of this? That is amazing. That is amazing. And I like your honesty and vulnerability, sharing how with the FSC tools, it brought ease to the work you're doing.
Yeah.
It brought professionalism. And not only, I'm particularly excited about the journey for you and Pastor Razak, because you have become like the center of hope. You have become like the center of succor. You have become like the center of vulnerability for pastors like you. Because you know, our society, we're still trying to change the narrative where everybody should be okay with seeking help.
True.
But because of that box that we have put pastors into, and people of faith, leaders of faith, where we put them as infallible, where
True.
even the society does not expect that they make mistakes. So when they are in need, they find it difficult sometimes to get help from, the worldly people,
That's right.
from those not in ministry, from the regular people. But now having you that is a pastor, who is also a professional, is easier for them to come get the help that they really need. And I'm so amazed at the transformation and the journey that you have gone through. So thank you. And I also want to use this opportunity to also thank you, especially because it's like after you took FSC, we had just injected you with one love passion. I can't begin to tell how many people.
No, it's for me, FSC, it's I often tell people that FSC is my second Bible, and that's the truth. I'm not mincing word, because my first encounter in class made me come back again. And that's why when PF was talking about we need to be very practical about it, I kept sinking it in. And for me, I believe that every leader needs the understand, especially the Oyela. Every leader needs it, because if you cannot give what you don't have, and I felt I had gotten to some level of wholeness before I came to class, but I still saw myself pouring out so much. So one thing I'll tell the students is that no matter the level you are, the first person that needs healing and wholeness is you. And like what Jesus Christ told Peter, when you have overcome, encourage others. The first person that needs to overcome is you. So when you are thoroughly healed and whole at any level, then the work now starts with passion. Because what that first healing does for you is to resonate empathy. So at that level, no one can, you are in control of your wholeness, you are in control of your sanity, you can't be angry, you can't lose it on anyone. You begin to make excuses, particularly when you understand Oyela. When you are in control, when you understand Oyela, you meet someone in like 5 minutes, you can pick the person's personality, you can pick the person's strengths and weaknesses. So there are no surprises, there are no disappointment. I would share one of my experiences when we moved to our first the last place of assignment in church. The first thing we did, sincerely, to all our workers and ministers, was to carry out Oyela on all of them. And why did we do that? We needed to know who we were working with. They probably did not know what we were doing. We needed to know their strengths and their weaknesses, their vulnerabilities, so that there won't be disappointment. And before we got there, there were a lot of gossips. Pastor, don't work with this person. No. Pastor, this is the bad one. No. Pastor, this is the black sheep. Do you know one thing? Some of the things they said, when we used Oyela, it brought the whole thing out. One cardinal strength for me was the women leader. People had said, hey, she works with the former person. Please, you don't need to. As if I must get there and change her. But I realized that her personality is the personality of a team-spirited person. So she can serve the demon and the angel. I'm not saying the person that went was a demon. So when I saw that in our Oyela, I felt like This is who this lady is. No matter how many leaders she has, she just has to be loyal. And today we are all working together. That was what Oyela did for us. Even the ones they said, don't work with that person, he showed, because he was showing a pseudo personality. So you'll be able to empathize with people. You hardly fall victim. People hardly, they wonder how you'll be able to create your sanity. So those are our experiences, practical, very practical.
Thank you, Nike. Thank you, Nike. You know, and like what you shared, we've had even organizations, schools, and other places of establishments invite us to run Oyela on their staff, because that is one way to understand the people you're living with. Yeah. I have a unique family experience. And what do I mean by a unique family experience? I am a family life practitioner. My husband is a family life practitioner, but a businessman. And with the model of business that my husband runs, the traditional Igbo business structure, he has what they call apprentices under him. And the apprentices live with us in the boys' quarter. Now, one of the immigration systems in my home is that you have to, apart from being inducted, being taught our family ideology and values, you have to do Oyela. So when you said it, I just smiled. So everyone in my home, plus the apprentice, plus the family members, you know each other's personality, you know each other's person's children, so that it makes living together harmonious. Fantastic. So that it makes understanding one another. So what am I saying? In essence, I'm saying that if you're here listening to us and you want to live, I posted something recently on, I think on Instagram, and I said, this life lived once ought to be lived happily. We're not going to come back again. We just have this one life to live. And for me, my commitment is to live this life, this one life, as happy as I can. Make my family as happy as I can. Make humanity as happy as I can. And the only path to happiness is wholeness. That's right. And what family system will teach you will help you continuously achieve is wholeness. Because the more you understand yourself, you understand your spouse, you understand your family, you even understand the clients you want to work with, the better transformation you can help them get. So in a nutshell, what I'm saying is that you ought to be at family, you ought to be a member of the family systems engineering family. Yeah. And the visa to becoming a member of this new nation, a member of the Ubuntu nation, a member of the nation where we all hold each other up and lift each other to wholeness, is by taking the family systems engineering course, because that is your visa to this nation. Please, Emmanuel, share the details again across here so that people can see it. Join the group class with as low as 20,000. Activate this offer in 72 hours, and we will be excited to welcome you in class. PF and I will be excited to welcome you in class on October 13th. And I'm sure the rest of the family members, Nika is here, Mabel is here, I saw Joy here, and a couple of people. We're also excited to welcome you into the Ubuntu family. On this note, I would like to say thank you for joining us. Thank you for committing your time to be here. Thank you for believing in yourself, even if it is curiosity that made you sign up. Your curiosity has helped you to learn one thing. Whether you are attending FSC or not, I want to just leave this with you. What are you going to start doing differently in your life as a result of one learning you are taking away from here? Whether it is a new learning, whether it's reinforcement of a learning you already know, what one thing will you do differently from today as a result of that learning? As you think about that, I want to say, Africa, is waiting for you and I to become whole, because the more we are whole, the more we can build whole marriages, and the more we can build whole nations and a whole Africa. Will you join Praise, Nike, Mabel, Ife, Emmanuel, and the over 630 practitioners of family systems engineering to rebuild Africa, starting first by rebuilding yourself and your home? I still remain Dimma Nwobi, the Director of Studies at the Institute of Family Engineering and Development, and I can't wait to welcome you to class. So on that note, I say have a fantastic night, morning, day, depending on what side of the globe you are joining from. Thank you for joining us, and remain blessed. Is PF still here? Any last word for PF from PF? Okay, I think PF has signed off. He really needs to go and rest. He's been active all day. I'm also going on live on Instagram at 9 p.m. So if you've ever been thinking about forgiveness and how do you forgive? Because a lot of times we talk about forgiveness, but it's a process. Join me at 9 p.m. on my handle at Dimma Nwobi on Instagram. Let's expound the science of forgiveness and how it can make you achieve wholeness. Remember, activate your access to family systems engineering certification with as low as 20,000 within the next 72 hours. Anyone here who wants to give us the last word? It's like I've been talking since. I see Olori, Olayinka, Lolly, Nadige, Ife, Gift, Adeyinka, Damilare, Olamito, Rina, Foster, Fejiro, Mabel. Anyone here who wants to give the last word before we sign off? Okay, so I'll still take the stage. Have a fantastic, yeah, somebody wants, okay, say something. Who is that, please? Okay. Oh, Ife.
Just
been a while I saw your face.
I just want to say to all the people that are listening that FSC training will light a fire in you that you didn't know was there. So I just want to encourage you to take the plunge. Honestly, not, even if you're not practicing for your life, the mind expanding experience is something I haven't recovered from. I did my first class in 2018. I did twice because I couldn't take everything at once. I had to come back, and since then, I've discovered myself. I've gone into all the training to equip me in the journey of helping homes, families, helping people. And all I can is that you light a fire in you. You know, there are things in you that you know are there, but when you encounter it, it's if when someone explains it to you, you won't understand. You need to experience it to understand my weight behind it. And I'm saying, take that plunge. Just do it. You won't regret it.
Thank you, Ife. On that note, we'll sign off. Ife says FSC will light a fire in you that you didn't know was there. Let's burn the fire together. And as the light is coming up in Ife, in me, in you, we are all lighting Africa together, because we must change that narrative that they said about us in the 17th century. It is you and I that can change it. And until we have the tools that can help us rewrite our script, we won't change that. Catch you on the inside, October 13th. I sign off and I wish you a blessed and wonderful day. Like we say in FSC, you are because I am. Ubuntu. Have a great day.